Hi there, my name is John Stevens. I'm pastor of Zion Lutheran Church in Oregon City, Oregon, and we're part of the ELCA. And welcome to Dollar Store Children's Sermons, where we take a look at the lectionary texts and we tie them to an item from the Dollar Tree, the kids' room, the junk drawer, the garage, wherever we can. And I am glad that you're with me. This is the narrative. This is for the narrative lectionary. This entire thing is the narrative lectionary. This is for the narrative lectionary, and we're in Acts. We're going to spend some time in Acts, and this is one of the stories about how we get to be part of the church. We could have conversations about circumcised and uncircumcised and circumcision of the heart and all of those kind of things, but I will leave that for your discretion. I'm going to use a conversation about the sign no shoes, no shirt, no service, or no shoes, no shirt, no masks, no service. The idea that there's a point where there are places around us that have signs. Now, let me be very clear. This is not a way of setting up, well, we've got freedom here and we need freedom there. If you've been following me long enough, you know that I am all for mask wearing. We wear masks for the love of our neighbor, and I'm all for wearing shoes and wearing shirts into a restaurant. Yes, there's a sign that we see where it says, for those of you who don't have shoes or shirts or masks, you cannot come in, and there's for a reason for that. There was a long time that we as people of God were not allowed into the church because of a particular reason. There's these things, but God's grace, the circle of grace. I've been on this for a couple of Sundays now, but the circle of grace keeps growing. That this idea of those who belong it keeps growing in the sense that God is opening our eyes to allow, and it might be, anyway, the circle of grace gets wider and wider. Last week we talked about being able to see, and that it's like about using the bracelet or the ring, about poking our heads through, poke, 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 poke. If you didn't see that, you could take a look at that, using the walking through paper. The other option is about the expanding of grace is I've gotten from the Dollar Tree a thing of twine or a big roll, and I've walked around the entire congregation. If you're doing live stream, this might be a difficult one to do, but where you circle the entire congregation, socially distanced, with this rope, and so everybody belongs in the circle of grace. So maybe I'm coming back to the sign about no shoes, no shirt, no service, and you can choose whether you want to put no mask. But so you've got that. What you could do is no shoes, no shirt, no service, and then you have a sign that you can stick over the top of that says "Still Loved," and the springboard is it's a springboard, getting you thinking in this direction. I don't have it completely worked out yet, but I like the idea. I like the idea of what it does do is it allows us to talk about what was going on at that council when they were making the decision about. Why, because here it's like, Old Testament law says if you're going to be included in here, you're going to be circumcised. And then there's the Gentile believers that weren't circumcised, and it's kind of like, okay, so what do we do? Are we requiring that? And this is the event where that was the decision, where they're like, no, that's not the way grace works. That's not the way God's love works, per se. So, we could have a great conversation over a cup of coffee on this, but the springboard is that thanks to God's grace and God's expanding circle of grace, we are allowed in. So, We'll leave it at that. That's the springboard. I hope you can find in this rambling, you can find a springboard for your own children's sermon. God loves you. Peace, and we will see you next week.